Hello, Pioneers. Today is Wednesday, January 29th. My name is Maddie Patton.
And I'm Kylie Bradshaw, and this is your weekly premiere of the press. Deportations taking place across the U.S., a look into the new Chinese-owned AI app DeepSeek, and the arrest of a man who intended to kill the Speaker of the House, Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of Treasury. But first, Abby has more information on the swearing-in ceremony of Trump's Secretary of Defense nominee. Abby?
Thanks, Kylie. On Saturday, the 29th, Secretary of Defense was sworn in. Pete Hegseth, former Minnesota Army National Guard officer, author, and former Fox News host, was nominated by Donald Trump to oversee the Defense Department. Hegseth faced large amounts of backlash after information surrounding allegations of sexual assault and public drunkenness came to light. Ultimately, these allegations led to a dramatic Senate vote, resulting in a 50-50 tie. Due to the Vice President also carrying the title of President of the Senate, the tie resulted in Vance having the final say. In the end, the vote count was 51-50, securing Hegseth the position as the 29th Secretary of Defense. During the swearing-in ceremony, Hegseth was joined by his current wife, Jenny, his 7 children. He later paid homage to those who served beside him during his time in the Army National Guard, saying, quote, "The first thing that goes through my head are the guys that I served with on the battlefield, the men and women who I locked shields with, who put my life on the line with, who never get the spotlight, who never get the cameras, who people don't know what they did in the dark and dangerous places," end quote. He followed up by stating, quote, "At the Pentagon, we're going to remember and we're going to think about those warriors with every single decision that we make," end quote. That's all from me. Now Macy takes a look into last week's presidential inauguration. Macy?
Hi Pioneers! Today we'll be taking a closer look into an important event that happened yesterday, Inauguration Day. Inauguration takes place on January 20th. The new president, who was elected back in November of last year, is sworn into office, officially becoming the next president of the United States. The incoming president is not officially serving as president until the inauguration ceremony occurs. This year, former President Donald Trump is getting sworn in for another 4 years of presidency.
Inauguration means that it is when the president is sworn in officially and taking office in the executive position. So inauguration is set by the Constitution in the 20th Amendment to take place on January 20th at noon. So that is when every 4 years we see the inauguration of a new president or someone taking office again for a second term. On the 20th, we will be inaugurating Donald Trump as the incoming president. And so he will take an oath of office, which means they have to pledge to uphold the standards and terms of becoming the President of the United States.
That's all for today. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Mia. Thousands of U.S. and state military personnel are currently assigned to the southern border as America carries out one of its largest mass deportations in U.S. history. Since President Trump signed an executive order last Monday, over 3,500 undocumented immigrants have been arrested. The executive order titled Securing Our Borders, signed on Trump's first day in office, states that the U.S. would be, quote, detaining, to the maximum extent authorized by law, aliens apprehended on suspension of violating federal or state law until such time as they are removed from the United States, end quote. Illegal immigration was one of the major issues Donald Trump campaigned on during his last election cycle, and it was one of the first executive orders he put into place on day one. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth assured the media on Monday, quote, "Whatever is needed at the border will be provided," end quote. This leaves many speculating the possibility of future deployments to the border in days and weeks to come.
A new artificial intelligence has made a sudden upsurge worldwide as AI websites take countries like the United States by storm. DeepSeek, a Chinese-owned AI app, has recently come to light and has made global headlines as a low-cost AI assistant. The app, which rose to number 1 in the Apple Store over the weekend, has put pressure on other major AI models such as Meta and OpenAI. It rose to fame in the U.S. just days after President Trump signed an executive order postponing the ban of popular Chinese-owned app TikTok by 75 days. In a statement Trump made, he said, quote, "The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser-focused on competing, end quote. Major tech companies took big hits on Monday following the release of DeepSeek. NVIDIA, the biggest loser, lost close to $600 billion in market value Monday, which marks the largest one-day loss of any company in history. Following recent events involving the brief TikTok ban, Jillian decided to take a deeper look. Jillian?
Morning, Pioneers. Today we're going to take a deeper look into the TikTok ban. As many of you know, TikTok was banned for a difficult 14 hours starting around 10:30 p.m. on the 18th and ending around 12 p.m. on the 19th. During the ban, many TikTok refugees went to the also Chinese-owned social media app called Red Note and spent their time there. Some other influencers, like James Charles, broke back into the TikTok app and were calling for help from the inside. But is TikTok here to stay? Not yet. Currently, TikTok is on a 75-day extension in hopes that someone will either buy it 50/50 or 51/49 US owned. But ByteDance also owns many other apps that were temporarily shut down during the ban, such as Goth AI and Lemon8. Stay tuned to hear more about the TikTok update. That's all for me. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Jillian. A man was arrested Monday after allegedly bringing a Molotov cocktail into the U.S. Capitol with the intent, he says, of killing Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Recently confirmed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The perpetrator, Ryan English, turned himself into the U.S. Capitol Police. After a thorough search was conducted, the police discovered English was carrying, according to court documents, 2 Molotov cocktails made using 50mm Absolute vodka bottles, as well as multiple knives. Prosecutors claim English had left his home Sunday to travel to Washington, where he was intending on killing Hegseth, who he referred to as a Nazi. A message found from English reads, quote, "Judith, dear God, I am so sorry. You must understand, I can feel myself dying slowly because of my heart." End quote. It goes on to read, quote, "This is terrible, but I can't do nothing while Nazis kill my sisters. I love you. This is awful. I'm so sorry. I love you. Please stay alive and heal. You can. You are strong enough." End quote. It is unknown to us at this time who the letter was intended for. That's all for our show today, Pioneers. As always, thanks for watching. For the press, I'm Maddie Patton.
And I'm Kylie Bradshaw. Make sure to tune in next Wednesday for more national news and have a great rest of your week.